Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Surrounded by Bourbon. Today we are in Islay, Scotland, off Scotland's west coast, and we are looking at Bruichladdich, and it is the classic Laddie Scottish barley. Bruichladdich, founded in 1881, much like a lot of other Scottish distilleries. You know, it's a story of boom, bust, all that. The cycle goes on. But I guess like their most recent resurgence really started in the year 2000 when Murray McDavid bought the distillery, and production restarted in 2001 with their first Port Charlotte distillate. A bit of a happy accident actually. They didn't mean to make a peated whiskey. It just so happened that they had a mix up with Port Ellen maltings and all they had was peated barley. So that is what they had to do. That was the first new spirit off the stills in Bruichladdich Distillery in 2001. So Bruichladdich are a bit of an outlier in Islay whiskey, much like Bunnahabhain, in that predominantly they focus on unpeated whiskey. Obviously Islay is well known for the smoke bomb monsters of Lagavulin, Laphroaig, Ardbeg, and then some of the more gentler drams like Coela and Octomore. Bruichladdich, although they do focus predominantly on peated whiskey, they do make some pretty heavily peated stuff. So I shall reach around here, my very professional video as always. So they do make the Port Charlotte, which is their heavily peated whiskey. This is actually a Valinch bottle, which is a hand fill that I got at the distillery in 2024. So normally this is peated to around 40 ppm, parts per million of phenols. So kind of in and around Ardbeg kind of territory. They also have this stuff, the Octomore, and this bottle reminds me of the containers that contained the black goo in Prometheus. Anyway, this is the Octomore. This is their ultra heavily peated whiskey, and normally these are well over 100 parts per million of phenols. This particular one is 127.3 parts per million. And this was something that I picked up at the distillery as well. This was a distillery exclusive that's finished in virgin oak. So they do know a thing or two about peated whiskey, but as I said, predominantly they make unpeated drams. The other thing that Bruichladdich are kind of well known for is maybe like pioneering the use of 100% Islay barley. They've also used heritage grains like beer barley. They've went for organic grains, they've done biodynamic barley, and they've also liberally used wine casks whenever wine casks weren't really that heavily used in the Scotch whisky industry. But that was kind of a passion for Mark Grenier because he was really into wines. So today though we are looking at the classic Laddie, and this is 100% Scottish barley. One of the cool things about the Bruichladdich website is that at the very bottom of the bottles, you're not going to see this, but that probably won't focus in, but anyway, I'll maybe take a picture of it and put it in the edit later on. There's a 5-digit code, and you can find out how each batch of the classic Laddie has been put together. So my bottle is 22003, so this was distilled or bottled in 2022. So I looked this up last night, and I'll not go into everything about it, but this has organic and non-organic Scottish barley, but it is completely Scottish barley. With 27 casks of this batch were laid down in 2014. So you're looking at least there's sort of 7 to 8 year old liquid in here. Maturation wise, there were first and second fill bourbon, there were first and second fill Cabernet Sauvignon hogsheads, there's sherry butts, there are Amarone wine hogsheads, there are Pomerol wine hogsheads, and there are Bordeaux casks. So kind of a lot going on, although when you look at the colour, I suggest that maybe the wine casks were dialed back a little bit, and it's probably predominantly the bourbon casks. So mash bill wise, it's a single malt, so it is 100% barley and it is 100% Scottish barley. Laddie do all the things that we like to see as whiskey enthusiasts. They are natural colour and it is non-chill filtered. Interestingly, they bottle this at 50% ABV or 100 proof, so that's also nice to see. I picked this up from Ocean Wines and Spirits. I think it was around $50 I got this for, so £37 or 43 euros. And I will add a little bit of water to this because it is 50%, and I kind of have this unwritten rule, I guess, now in the channel that once something hits 50% and above, I will add water just to see how things get affected. Maybe I should just add water to everything, I don't know. You can maybe recommend what you would like to see in the channel in your comments section. But anyway, let us get into the nose and see what sort of stuff we are getting. So straight away, this is very, very malt forward, it's cereal driven. So it's kind of like digestive biscuit. There's also like pencil shavings, there's a bit of candy floss, and also some wet sand as well. So a nice sort of coastal element. There's a lot of vanilla cream going on here. And then it's kind of intense with like apple and pear notes. There's like creme fraiche going on as well, so there's kind of like a lactic quality to this. Bit of lime zest. And then just in the background there's like a hint of strawberry, a hint of peach melba as well. So a really nice nose, I have to say. This is a whiskey that I could kind of nose all night, to be quite honest. Anyway, let's go on to the palate, see what we get, and then after that we're going to add a little bit of water. With a good body, good weight to the texture of the whiskey on arrival. And again, it's that kind of malt, barley, kind of driven palate as well. So there's like graham crackers going on here. There's honey, there's malt loaf actually. And there's like some of those like fruit salad sweets we get back in the UK. Maybe like, it's been so long since I've had Jolly Ranchers, and I don't know if fruit salad sweets and Jolly Ranchers are actually akin to each other, but that kind of fruitiness anyway going on. The vanilla is definitely there. Those apple notes are there as well. And it does kind of seek into a bit of like spiciness. So there's a little bit of alcohol heat here. There's clove, maybe a touch of like white pepper. But there's also a definite maritime saltiness to this dram. There's some canned peaches, but then to kind of temper things out, there is also like some tart citrus, like pink grapefruit, that just kind of balances everything there. I'll do the finish and then I'll add some water. I think finish-wise, it's just on the cusp of like medium in length. You're still getting that vanilla, there's pear, there's a bit of lemon oil going on, and some saltiness, and just a little bit of astringency just at the end. Yeah, like definitely some oak tannins kind of going on there. Anyway, let us add water to this and we will see what we can get. Alright, so we have given the water a little bit of time. Let us see what this has done to the nose and to the palate. So nose-wise, so now there's like a pronounced honeysuckle note. There's like Sauterne wine, so that kind of like really floral, peachy kind of flavor or aroma going on. And the lactic notes have kind of been amplified a little, so there's like salted butter. So let's go on to the palate. So I think palate-wise, interesting. Maybe brings out like a little bit of like taffy, but it also brings out a herbal bitterness, kind of like charred endive or radicchio, like lettuce. Yeah, so that kind of like herbal bitterness going on, and then the oak is also now amplified a little. I think I actually prefer this at 50% and not with the water, to be honest. I think now it's just becoming like a little bit more tannic and bitter than I would like. Yeah, give this one more sip and then I'll score it. Alright, scores on the doors. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. So I think this is like a really solid entry into the world of Bruichladdich, and especially into island malts if you're really not into like peated whiskey. If I was to suggest another alternative to something from Islay, I guess I would, that's unpeated, I would go with the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old, which is a similar price to this. So it's a little more expensive, but it's on the more sherry side, so a little richer, darker, sweeter. And it is a bit of a personal favourite for me, to be honest. But yeah, this is a really solid whiskey. The nose promises so much, but the palate kind of struggles a little bit, especially if you do add water. I think once you add water, I'm kind of not quite as keen on it. With water, I'd probably give it a 5 out of 10, but at full strength, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. So yeah, there you go, Bruichladdich, classic Laddie. I think this is definitely worth a shout, and give it a chance. Put it on your whiskey shelf. It's a very easy sipper as well. Not the most complex thing in the world, but I think it's like a good one to maybe have on your shelf all the time, because it's a little bit lighter than like the Bunnahabhain 12, just a different style, I guess. But yeah, in company, I think you could easily go through a bottle of this and, you know, have a great time. So anyway, that is my thoughts on the Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. Next video, we are heading back to America. I'm going to look at a bourbon. So thanks very much for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, share and comment. Let me know if there's any particular whiskies that you would like me to review, or just give me some feedback on the channel, what you think I could do better, if you find it interesting, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, thanks for being with me, and until next time, have a great night. Slàinte.